This is Dr. Rahul Pandya. Welcome to our channel. In today's episode, we will discuss everything about plagiarism along with the hands-on exercises. Furthermore, be focused, attend the quiz at the end of the episode and master your knowledge of plagiarism. We will be creating new episodes on research process regularly. Therefore, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you wouldn't miss the upcoming episodes. During their early phase, many researchers and students are unaware of plagiarism. Plagiarism occurs when we copy someone else's ideas or information text and present them as ours without citing the sources. In today's era of internet, information is easily accessible. Therefore, when writing the research papers, submitting assignments, or research proposals, we copy certain information from the various sources without citing them. We can refer to the knowledge and information available on the internet. However, copying directly without citing them is a severe issue known as plagiarism. Plagiarism can be classified into two major categories: intentional plagiarism and unintentional plagiarism. Authors commit intentional plagiarism when they purposefully copy the information, including text, images, diagrams, pictures, music, videos, charts, data, etc., without citing the sources. Whereas unintentional plagiarism occurs when the authors are unaware of writing ethics in research and publications or could miss out on human errors. Intentional plagiarism is also known as conscious plagiarism. This occurs when we knowingly present someone else's ideas, work, or information text as ours without acknowledging the sources. Conversely, unintentional plagiarism is also referred as unconscious plagiarism. It occurs when we unknowingly duplicate someone else's work or ideas. Intentional plagiarism takes several forms, such as verbatim or direct plagiarism, which occurs when we copy information directly from a source and paste it into our document without mentioning the original source. The next is paraphrasing without citing the sources. It occurs when we rewrite the information which is borrowed from the sources in our own words without citing them. The next is mosaic plagiarism, which occurs when we compile several short information text segments from various sources without citing them. The next is ghostwriting, which occurs when we purchase a work written by someone who agrees not to be included as an author. The next is self-plagiarism, which occurs when we copy from previously published articles, books, contributed chapters, research papers, or project proposals and present them as new without acknowledging the previous sources or taking permission from the respective publishers. The next is multi-posting, a subtype of self-plagiarism, which occurs when we submit a paper or project proposal to multiple journals, conferences, or funding agencies. The next is source plagiarism, which occurs when we supply misleading citations, incomplete references, or copy irrelevant references from any article without cross-referencing. The next is inadequate authorship, which occurs when we do not include the actual collaborators and publish the paper under the single authorship. The next is collusion or unethical collaborations, which occurs when a group of people agrees to include each other's names as co-authors to increase the publication counts or cite each other's articles without any relevance to increase the citation counts. The next is undeclared contribution, which occurs when we do not acknowledge someone's contribution or assistance. The next is translation without citing sources, which occurs when we use translated information which is published in a different language and present it as ours without citing the sources. As mentioned earlier, unintentional plagiarism occurs for several reasons, such as a lack of awareness and experience or human errors. There are several types of unintentional plagiarism, such as often the authors forgetting to cite the sources or citing incorrectly, forgetting to quote the borrowed information, forgetting to write the footnotes, borrowing too much of information from various sources and stitching them together, performing incorrect paraphrasing, etc. Authors commit intentional plagiarism when they know writing ethics in research and publications and knowingly indulge in copying events. Verbatim or direct plagiarism occurs when we copy information directly from a source and paste it into our document without citing the sources. It could be a complete or a partial copy. Verbatim plagiarism occurs when we purposefully copy information including text, images, diagrams, pictures, music, videos, charts, data, etc. without citing the sources or taking the written permission from the respective publishers. When submitting assignments, project reports, term papers, etc., students often copy from the internet sources or from their friends' work. The following solutions can easily avoid verbatim plagiarism. Always be original and express your ideas in your own words. Definitely, you can refer to the existing sources of information. However, copy pasting will lead to verbatim plagiarism. Therefore, if you want to refer to any published information, paraphrase or rewrite that information in your own words and cite all the sources from which the information is borrowed. During paraphrasing, make sure that the original meaning remains intact. In other words, do not change the meaning of the borrowed information. Use quotation marks if you are borrowing the information without paraphrasing followed by the citations. However, this should be as least as possible. In case of copyrighted materials such as images, diagrams, pictures, music, videos, charts, data, etc., you may have to acquire a written license from the respective publisher or copyright holder before reusing it. Let's take one hands-on exercise to understand what is verbatim plagiarism. Here I have copied the entire abstract from a published article without any quotation marks and citations. The plagiarism report has been generated through Turnitin, and the highlighted text indicates that the information is copied and plagiarized. Clearly, it has detected and identified the source of the copied information. This is called verbatim or word-for-word plagiarism. Verbatim plagiarism may lead to severe consequences in the professional career. As discussed, verbatim plagiarism can be avoided by applying three solutions. In the present exercise, we will apply paraphrasing followed by citing the source. As you can observe, the complete information has been rewritten or paraphrased without altering its meaning. However, paraphrasing is not sufficient. We must cite the source from where the information is borrowed. After paraphrasing, we generated the plagiarism report through Turnitin. We can observe that there are no highlights in the plagiarism report, and Turnitin has passed the information without marking for plagiarism. Plagiarism arises even if we paraphrase the information. Many students paraphrase or rewrite the information which is borrowed from several sources. Paraphrasing doesn't alter the fact that we copied from someone else's work. Therefore, we must acknowledge the original authors by citing them. Anti-plagiarism software may not be able to detect the paraphrased content. However, the original authors or publishers holding the copyrights may demand for rectification for the breach of copyrights. This could occur because of the paraphrasing the information from a single source, or it could be from multiple sources without citations. Let's take one hands-on exercise to understand how plagiarism arises when we paraphrase the borrowed information but do not cite the sources. Here I have copied the entire abstract from a published article without quotation marks and citations. The plagiarism report has been generated through Turnitin. The highlighted text indicates that the information is copied and plagiarized. Clearly, it has detected and identified the source of the copied information. To bluff the plagiarism checker and generate the fake reports, students often paraphrase the information or apply a few tricks, such as altering a few words. Here I have paraphrased the original information without citing the source. After paraphrasing, we generated the plagiarism report through Turnitin. We can observe that there are no highlights in the plagiarism report, and Turnitin has passed the information without marking for plagiarism. However, paraphrasing is not sufficient. The content is still plagiarized. Therefore, we must cite the source from where the information is borrowed. We must be original in our writing. If we want to borrow any information from the existing articles, perform the paraphrasing without altering the original meaning of the information and always cite the sources. Mosaic plagiarism occurs when we assemble multiple text segments from various sources without citations, which is also known as patched writing. Mosaic plagiarism is a subtype of intentional plagiarism, which may lead to severe consequences in the future if ignored. To generate fake plagiarism reports, students often rephrase or alter the words or paraphrase sentences without acknowledging the sources. Therefore, always cite all the sources in the text where the information is borrowed. Let's take one hands-on exercise to understand how mosaic plagiarism arises. Here I have copied multiple text segments from various sources without paraphrasing, quotation marks, and citations. The plagiarism report has been generated through Turnitin. The highlighted text indicates that the information is copied and plagiarized. Clearly, it has detected and identified the sources from where each segment has been copied. The solutions to conquer mosaic plagiarism are: always design a novel problem solution. Express your ideas in your own words. Always paraphrase and cite the sources. Use quotation marks for directly borrowed information text and cite the sources. Here I have paraphrased the original information and cited all the sources from where the information segments are borrowed. After paraphrasing and citing the sources, we generated the plagiarism report through Turnitin. We can observe that there are no highlights in the plagiarism report, and Turnitin has passed the information without marking for plagiarism. However, paraphrasing is not sufficient. Therefore, to avoid the Mosaic plagiarism, we cited all the sources from where the information segments are borrowed. Ghostwriting is an event that occurs when we purchase an article written by someone who agrees not to be included as the author and publish under our authorship. To publish many papers in a shorter duration or to meet the yearly institutional criteria, many academicians purchase the already written articles from the ghostwriters and publish under their authorship. Students often purchase the solved assignments, projects, term papers, research articles, etc., written by someone or from the support agency. This is also called ghostwriting. Purchasing work from anyone is highly unethical, and one must avoid this. We often copy the content from our previously published articles, book chapters, project proposals, term papers, reports, etc., and present similar information as new without acknowledging the previous work or not taking the approval for reuse from the respective publisher. Definitely, we can reuse the information from our previously published work under the fair usage policy. However, we must acknowledge the sources. There are several other forms of self-plagiarism, such as submitting one paper to multiple journals and conferences to increase the chances of acceptance, framing multiple articles from a single paper, employing minor changes without presenting substantially new contributions, submitting the same project proposal to multiple funding agencies. Students often submit the same project reports, term papers, assignments, etc. to multiple courses. Let's take hands-on exercises and understand them one by one. Here we can observe that the article presented on the left-hand side is an older one that is assumed to have already been published. We employed the minor changes in the existing script without adding substantially new contributions and submitted it to another publishing platform for a publication. This is called self-plagiarism. The next paper can be an extended of the previous work. However, the extended version of the previously published article must present a substantial new contribution and extended solution, demonstrating new results, enhancing and eliminating the limitations of the previously presented methods. Multiposting is a subtype of self-plagiarism, which comes under intentional plagiarism. The author submits one paper to multiple journals to get a quick response. Journals have their plagiarism and multiposting checker. Consequently, the authors may be blacklisted or barred from future submissions. Therefore, one must preserve publishing ethics in research and publication process. Furthermore, the author splits one paper into multiple smaller versions with minor changes and submits them across various platforms, which is highly unethical. There should be at least a certain percentage of new contributions in each version. Source plagiarism occurs when we copy the references directly from any article randomly without cross-referencing. Beginners often copy references from any published article and stuff them in their bibliography without relevance and citing. As shown in the exercise, we have copied some of the references from a random source paper and just stuffed them into the list of references in our current article. This is known as source plagiarism. When reviewing any articles, reviewers carefully observe the cited references and the relevance of the sites with the presented work. Consequently, the article may get rejected if the citations are not relevant. Therefore, always cite the relevant references which we studied carefully during the research work and avoid such occurrences of source plagiarism. There are a few more types of source plagiarism which are discussed later under the section of unintentional plagiarism. In research, constructive collaboration and joint work are always appreciated. However, disclosing and acknowledging all the collaborators and respective terms is vital to avoid conflict of interest. Joint work, collaborations, and co-authorships are common in academic and industrial research. If there are multiple contributors in the presented work, we cannot just publish under solo authorship. Therefore, acknowledge the respective collaborators, including them as suitable co-authors. Furthermore, designating additional co-authors without significant contributions to the article is also unethical. Let's take hands-on exercises and understand the most common types of inadequate authorships. The first case is removing the names of the other collaborators and publishing the paper under the sole authorship. For illustration, in the given paper, we have excluded the actual collaborators who jointly contributed and communicated the article under the sole authorship. Here one can see that the intention is to grab the entire credit without including the collaborators as co-authors, which is highly unethical. We must include all the collaborators as suitable co-authors when publishing the article if the presented research work has resulted from the collaboration. The second case is designating favorable co-authors for mutual benefits or commercial gain. As shown below, the author has included inadequate authors without any significant contribution for mutual benefits or commercial gain. This is also unethical, and one must follow the best ethical practices in research and publications. Collusion occurs when a group of students agrees to establish an unethical collaboration, such as they allow each other to copy assignments, term papers, project reports, exam questions, etc. Constructive collaboration involves two or more students working jointly on a specific problem or helping each other to attain higher academic performance. However, assignments, exams, or written works need to be graded individually. Therefore, unethical collaboration becomes collusion if copying events occur when it is subjected to the individual evaluation. Collusion also occurs when a group of people establishes an unethical research collaboration network. Many times, they include favorable group members as co-authors to increase the publication counts, or cite each other's research articles without any relevance to increase the citation counts. Furthermore, often they send inadequate theses for evaluation to known and favorable examiners. One must understand the differences between collaboration and collusion. Any type of collusion is highly unethical, and one must avoid such instances. Plagiarism occurs when we obtain an idea or a work which is published in another language, translate it, and publish under our own name. Translation doesn't change the fact that we have copied the idea or any other work which is published in a different language. Therefore, we must acknowledge the original work and reference it. As shown in the snapshot left, the original work has been published in another language. For a publication, we translated the content from another language. Intentional plagiarism also includes communicating translated works without adding significant new contributions, extending the existing works, or not referencing it. Such translated works may not be detected by the plagiarism checkers, but they are still instances of intentional plagiarism. In order to avoid such instances, we must be original in our publications and cite the original work whenever we refer it. Unintentional or accidental plagiarism occurs when the authors are unaware of writing ethics or when they miss out on human error. It is also known as unconscious plagiarism, which occurs when we unknowingly present someone else's ideas or work as ours. There are 6 major types of unintentional or accidental plagiarism, such as incorrect or misleading citations, which are also known as source referencing, forgot to cite, forgot to quote and cite, forgot to write footnotes, the resourceful citer, ostriching the sources, and incorrect paraphrasing. Let's understand each type in detail. Incorrect citations or source referencing include several subtypes, such as cite inaccurate sources, false citations, or misleading citations. As a consequence of inaccurate citations, source references, or misleading citations, readers are often unable to locate the cited sources. It also occurs when we provide insufficient detail in the reference and forget a few details such as publisher's name, page numbers, year, month, volume number, etc. Unintentional plagiarism occurs when we forget to cite the sources. As shown in the snapshot below, the presented information is paraphrased from the following source, and by mistake, we forgot to cite the source. The plagiarism checker may not be able to identify the sources. However, despite paraphrasing, the presented information is still called plagiarized. In the case of forgotten quotation marks, we forgot to quote the directly copied information. The author cited a source but forgot to place the referred text in the quotation marks. In the case of a direct copy of any text or information, citing the source is insufficient. The quotation mark is mandatory. Without quotation marks, it is assumed that the authors are falsely claiming the presented information. As shown below, the presented information text is directly copied from the cited source. However, we forgot to put the copied text under the quotation marks. Therefore, it is considered a case of unintentional or accidental plagiarism. To avoid such instances, as shown below, we must quote the copied information along with the citation. In the case of forgotten footnotes, as shown in the snapshot, the authors cite the source correctly for the presented information. However, they forgot to include the footnotes about the specific information on the location of the source material. The forgotten footnotes is also considered a case of unintentional or accidental plagiarism. In the case of resourceful citer or stitching the sources, the authors paraphrase the original information, use quotation marks, and cite all the sources. However, the presented article lacks novelty. The presented article is a collection of existing works and does not contain the original work. Incorrect paraphrasing is also considered as one type of unintentional plagiarism. Here, the authors have well cited the paraphrased information. However, by mistake, they altered the meaning of the original information. When paraphrasing, please ensure that the original meaning of the source information remains intact. It is a common mistake to think that we don't need to reference Wikipedia as it is in a public domain. Be careful, it is someone else's work and it must be referenced. In this section, to increase the awareness, we will summarize the common excuses behind the plagiarism. There are several reasons for plagiarism, such as too many deadlines, lack of time, exam period, lack of awareness, carelessness, temptation to copy and paste, thesis submission in a hurry, peer pressure, etc. When submitting assignments, term papers, research papers, or research proposals, many students copy without paraphrasing and citing. They often say, "I don't know how to cite." Another common excuse is, "Everyone copies, so I did." There are other common excuses, such as, "I don't know how to write a research paper, so I copied." Another one is, "I did not get enough time, so I copied and did not cite." "I copied from the online material and there was no author." "I did not record the original information sources and did not cite them." There are a few more common reasons behind plagiarism, such as poor writing skills, fear of failure or discrimination, the demand for publication for an award of an academic degree, hunting for faculty positions, etc. Individual professionals often commit plagiarism due to peer pressure, desire to be successful in a short period, promotion, increased publication and citation counts, etc. Individual professionals also commit plagiarism due to the other factors, such as institutional priority for winning the research grants, increasing institutional ranking through research activities, departmental pressure to improve academic and research performance, establishing international research collaborations, aim for publishing in prestigious journals and conferences, etc. Sometimes, plagiarism goes undetected in poor quality journals due to the inefficient review process and competition among journals to publish more articles in a shorter period. As we discussed, the common reasons behind the plagiarism are time pressure, approaching deadlines, lack of awareness, exam period, thesis submission in a hurry, or peer pressure to publish more articles in a shorter time period for a professional growth. In general, depending on the plagiarism severity, the penalty of such instances would be decided. If the plagiarism is unintentional, such as minor text copying, self-plagiarism, or any other type of accidental plagiarism instances, one would face mild consequences. In such minor cases, the committee may request the author to submit an apology letter or explanation along with the correction. However, there are severe occurrences of plagiarism, such as copyright violations, stealing the idea, severe copying, or duplications. In such cases, we face severe consequences of plagiarism, such as expulsion from the institute. Authors may be blacklisted and banned from the future article submissions, retraction or withdrawal of the article. The university may cancel the degree for alumni, fired from a job, criminal charges, etc. In academics, we face many instances where students are found committing plagiarism when submitting assignments, term papers, lab reports, etc. They copy from the other students' work. They also copy from previously submitted assignments to the new assignment in the same or another course. When writing the research papers, thesis, in general, students copy from the electronic sources, research papers, books, journals, etc. without citing the sources. Universities consider the reported plagiarism cases as severe offences and process them through the disciplinary committee. For intentional plagiarism, the disciplinary committee may award a warning, recommends a degradation of the awarded grade, awarding a fail grade, expulsion from the institute, etc. The university may also penalize alumni by cancelling the awarded degree in the severe cases. The same may be notified to the current employer for the respective alumni, which may result in a loss of job. Now, we will discuss the consequences of the copyright violations. Intellectual property rights are protected through copyright acts. Breach of copyright acts may result in legal consequences. The original authors holding the copyrights may claim their IPR and demand for ratification for the breach of copyrights. In case of accidental copyright violations, some of the mild consequences demand for apology letters, impose financial penalties, or forced to transfer the entire profit gained through the commercial activities. In case of intentional copyright violations, we may face severe consequences, such as losing a current job, future job applications may be denied, and the authors may be banned from publishing, legal proceedings, imprisonment, etc. Plagiarism occurs in the following instances when we do not cite the sources. Students copy from the available sources when submitting the assignments, laboratory reports, term papers, project reports, research articles, dissertations, theses, etc. Plagiarism occurs when we completely or partially copy an idea from any internet source. Oral consent is not sufficient when we use someone else's work or content without written consent from the respective content owner. When we use images, graphs, pictures, charts, music, videos, or any other multimedia material without written approval from the copyright holders. There are certain academic misconducts that we need to develop an awareness of. Following are the frequent occurrences of academic misconduct. Considering the collaborative research, when we misuse the research data without taking the written consent from the respective collaborators and publishing the work by removing their names or reordering the author's number by placing our names first and others' names later, even if their contribution is substantial. Purchase of any pre-written material and publishing as our own. Publishing a research paper, book, or book chapter which is partially or entirely copied from someone else's work. Asking someone to write a research paper, thesis, project report, assignment, laboratory report, etc. When we force others to include our name as a co-author in any research article, book, or any form of publication. Removing the names of other contributors and publishing the article under our sole authorship. Multiposting occurs when we communicate previously submitted work to any other platform. In other words, submitting one paper to many other journals. Inappropriate citations or not citing appropriate sources due to lack of awareness, lack of time, laziness, ignorance, etc. Generating fake plagiarism reports to satisfy universities' mandates, pasting text as a snapshot and running through the plagiarism software. Fabricating graphs, results, tables, surveys, numbers, or statistics by self-judgment without performing actual work, experiments, simulation studies, or field surveys. Reusing self-published work from the previously submitted grant proposals or research papers. Presenting translated work from the original language to another without citing the sources. There are several levels of similarity index and consequences of plagiarism. For a submitted article, thesis, assignment, project report, etc., if the similarity index is between 0 to 10%, which is considered minor and no penalty would be imposed. If the similarity index is between 10 to 30%, the authors would be instructed to revise and resubmit the manuscript or a document, bringing down the similarity index below 10%. If the similarity index is between 30 to 50%, the authors may be asked to withdraw the manuscript or banned from submitting the manuscript for a year. In case of students submit plagiarized assignments, project reports, or term papers during the course and the detected similarity index is between 30 to 50%, they may be imposed the penalty of degrading the awarded grade. If the similarity index exceeds 50%, the authors may be barred from submitting the manuscripts for 3 years. In case of students submit plagiarized assignments, project reports, or term papers during a course and detected plagiarism index is more than 50%, then they may be imposed the penalty of awarding a fail grade. Similarly, suppose the similarity index exceeds 50% for the faculties and working professionals. In that case, the penalty of demotion will be imposed, or future increments will be stopped. They will not be allowed to be a PhD supervisor for 2 to 3 years, or they may be fired from the job. Ideally, bring the plagiarism or similarity index below 10%. You may use Turnitin or plagiarism checkers to scan the similarity index. To cut down the similarity index, read the existing content, rewrite in your own words, and cite the sources. Be aware of the copyright infringements on images. In general, plagiarism checkers scan the text for the similarity index, not the images. To avoid the copyright infringements, develop your idea and draw your own images. If you are reusing any published image, request a publisher to issue a written license or pay the image reusage charge if they are already published. Please note, this is a mandatory action. There is no scope of not doing that unknowingly. There are distinct methods to avoid plagiarism. We will discuss the most common ones in today's episode. If we want to refer to the existing publications available on the internet, the best practice is to paraphrase that information and cite the respective sources. Paraphrasing means rewriting the information of interest in our own words without changing the original meaning. Merely paraphrasing is not acceptable to avoid plagiarism. Always cite respective sources after paraphrasing to acknowledge the credit of the respective authors. For example, the highlighted text in the green is paraphrased and the respective source numbers 1 to 4 are cited. The reference list in general comes at the end of the article and must reflect the detail of the references with the same numbers. The formatting of the citations and references may differ from publisher to publisher. One can follow the detailed citation guidelines based on the targeted publisher. The citations are mandatory even if we use images, graphs, diagrams, pictures, photographs, and data. For example, the image shown at the right is taken from source 1, and the respective source is cited and listed in the references. Moreover, citing any copyrighted material such as images and pictures is not sufficient if they are not published under Creative Commons licenses. One has to acquire the written approval from the respective publisher before the redistribution. This will help to avoid copyright infringements. The third method to avoid plagiarism is direct quotations followed by citations. When we want to refer to the information text as is from the published sources, we quote the respective text without changing any word under the quotation mark, followed by citing the source. For example, the following text is acquired from source 1 and placed under the quotation marks. Furthermore, at the end of the quoted text, the source 1, from where the original information is borrowed, is well cited and placed in the detailed reference list at the end of the article. Citing the sources in PPT is extremely important. During any presentation, citing the sources will help to avoid plagiarism. Citing the sources will also supply additional information which will help interested attendees to get in more detail. Furthermore, it helps to avoid copyright infringements and subsequent legal consequences. The best practice is to refer the relevant sources at the end of the text through superscript notations and cite them at the bottom of the slide. The following illustration shows that the sources are referred through the superscript numbers and positioned at the bottom of the slide. Citing the sources at the bottom of the slide will substantially help readers immediately identify the relevant sources and go through them if they are further interested in exploring. Furthermore, instead of superscripts, we can also use bracketed numbers, refer to the sources, and cite them at the bottom of the slide. We must cite sources when we use images, diagrams, pictures, photographs, charts, data, music, videos, etc. For example, we have used the image of the National Optical Fiber Network, which is adapted from source 1, and the source paper is cited at the bottom of the slide. As shown previously, instead of superscripts, we can also use the bracketed numbers to refer to the sources and cite them at the bottom of the slide. In case of quoted information, referencing is mandatory. For example, the quoted text is acquired from source 1 and cited below. There are several tips to eschew plagiarism that we follow during the writing process. Always differentiate your ideas from others. Always reference or cite the sources. Identify and note the sources so that they can be traced very easily during the writing process. On the contrary, we may forget to cite or face difficulties in locating the correct sources if they are not well noted. Plan your time well. Novel writing demands time as it requires searching for sources, reading them, making notes, thinking, translating your ideas into a written draft, etc. Consult your supervisor regularly. That doesn't necessarily mean very often. Don't hide it if you are behind a schedule. Don't pretend you understand if you are not sure about something. Two brains are better than one. Avoid secrets and be honest. Don't be afraid to admit if you don't know something. Admit mistakes and start working on solutions. Develop a reading habit. We learn more by reading research and scientific papers. Besides gaining insight into various topics, we will also learn about academic writing. If you are unsure whether you need to reference something, always reference it in case of doubts. If your plagiarism is exposed, admit it and work on the solution. If you are already trying to cover up some error, don't wait until it is exposed and start working on the solutions. Instruct students to employ a multi-stage writing process. Direct students to demonstrate the work as they progress through the writing process. Identify accidental and intentional plagiarism. Instruct students to eliminate the identified plagiarism. In gathering and planning stage, instruct students to do comprehensive and detailed planning of their writing before they start. Instruct students to gather required literature sources and note the respective sources. Expect students to frame a comprehensive blueprint of their paper or thesis. Analyze the content before they start and instruct them to be aware of the plagiarism from the beginning. Instruct students to integrate your suggestions and comments in the revised writing draft. In the revision stage, encourage students to produce a significant contribution in the direction of enhancing writing quality and plagiarism elimination. Mark drafts with adequate sequence numbers and logical names as the student progresses and produces a revised draft. Cut down plagiarized paragraphs, lines, sentences, diagrams, equations, musics, videos, data, etc. In the editing stage, employ a last-minute review process to enable the students a chance to catch the errors. Instruct students to restate sentences more concisely, which teaches them paraphrasing skills. Guide students to do a final check by marking quoted and paraphrased passages and cross-checking the citations. Perform extensive peer review and multiple revisions. Always assign or approve topics to the students to avoid copying events. Do not allow last-minute topic changes. Employ rewrite option very frequently to enhance the writing quality and eliminate the plagiarism. Teach a culture of earned trust. Finally, take care of the following points during the writing process to avoid plagiarism. Maintain originality and novelty during the research and writing. Paraphrasing, referencing, quoting, citing quotes, cite your own material. Provide references and acquire written permission for reusing photographs, data, diagrams, pictures, graphs, charts, music, videos, etc. Please attend the quiz to master your knowledge on plagiarism. For each question, share your answer in the comment section. What is plagiarism? Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is A. Which are the two major types of plagiarism? Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is C. Which of the following is true with reference to verbatim plagiarism? Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is D. Paraphrasing without citing the sources is a subtype of intentional plagiarism where the authors rewrite the information which is borrowed from the source in their own words without citing the sources. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is A. To paraphrase appropriately, We require to. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is D. Which of the following is true with reference to Mosaic plagiarism? Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is D. Ghostwriting is ethical and is not a type of plagiarism. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is A. Self-plagiarism occurs under the following circumstances. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is D. Translating someone's work into another language without citation is not plagiarism. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is B. Authors commit unintentional plagiarism when they are unaware of writing ethics in research and publications, or they miss out on human error. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is A. It is acceptable to copy and paste the sentence written by someone else into your paper and add the quotation marks to it without citing a source. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is B. If you forget to cite a source in your paper, that is still plagiarism. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is A. Which of the following is not plagiarism? Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is C. Copying from Wikipedia is not plagiarism. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is B. The primary reasons behind plagiarism are. Please drop your answers in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is E. Severe consequences of plagiarism are. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is E. Bring the plagiarism or similarity index in the range of. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is A. When we give any presentation on any platform, such as conferences, project presentations, seminars, annual progress presentations, citing the sources in PPT is not important. Please drop your answer in the comment section. Your time starts now. The correct answer is B. Take a paragraph of your choice in the field of your interest from any published literature, paraphrase it, cite the sources, and post it for evaluation to the given email ID. We will be creating new videos on research process regularly. Therefore, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you wouldn't miss the upcoming episodes. Before we leave, please do not forget to like and share. Thank you very much.